Yeah, and also like in the 60s and 70s, they attached like sexual liberation, civil rights, and all the women's rights were to these the anti-war protests. So they had a lot backing up. So do you think we could also attach the other things that you just said, like global militarism and then global warming, attach it to these things? Do you think there's a way to combine things?
We have been doing things with. Let me start again. Important things have been going on at Fordham over the last few years around women's issues, gay rights, all kinds of things. Women's studies has been very in the forefront of supporting the vagina monologues with discussions, with events, and with theater productions, and certainly we've done that all across Fordham on both campuses for a number of different themes. And we just had a theater event about the preference for the poor, about the church women who were killed in El Salvador. And so we do have various pockets of the university that are devoted to and dedicated to trying to create justice and peace in not only in our own midst at Fordham, but everywhere else too.
Do you wish students were more active? Do you think students should be more active?
I think in terms of students becoming more active, I think that what we try to do is connect curriculum to ways, to activities that allow them to see how they might be effective in changing the world, how their individual lives are influenced by these larger things that are happening in terms of war and the economy, that it is actually creating the conditions for their well-being or for their abilities to succeed. And I think that the more we allow our students to understand that these economic debates are not abstract, but they're going to affect their everyday life, that a more dangerous world globally is going to influence their actual lives, that climate change is going to play out within their lives, and that there is a way that we can find solutions to these problems together with collective action. That I think that the more we can do that, the better we will serve our students. I think that these easy debates that we have where there's a left and a right, or a conservative and liberal, those are often not productive, because the terminology has already polarizes people. Oftentimes if you talk about a collective, it's that's socialism. What we understand is that major change in policy and government can't occur without collective action. And so we're all very atomized with our handheld devices and our individual media and our culture of celebrity, and we don't understand that these media practices take us out of a public world, and it's within that public world that social change and peace and democracy is to be found.
Yeah, back to when you said you went to the protest on the streets in 2003, or just talking about any protest that you as a faculty have been here at Fordham. Can you just tell me how it made you feel personally? Like, what did you experience? What were your feelings?
Oh, I can't tell you the thrill of being with my students and closing down 2nd Avenue in New York City, in hopes of drawing attention to stopping the invasion of Iraq. And it was a very empowering moment. That's the other thing that people should, when you're at a large demonstration, the feeling is exhilarating, and you actually do, in a very kind of personal way, feel that there might be an alternative to the world that could be positive, where people could feel their shared humanity, where you could find empathy toward one another and work toward a world without violence and degradation. And those are very important moments that I think people should really experience.
Did you have any chants? Do you remember any chants or anything? Did did you attack anybody or like any crazy things went on?
Oh no, we had a wonderful time. We had a little bit of a hard time keeping our Fordham banner up, but we had an official Fordham banner with us. And there was a little bit of a moment when you move into a street and you want the cars to stop. There's a little bit of moment there where the car may not stop. But we weren't really even met with much hostility on the part of the traffic that we were moving into with our signs and our anti-war protests, because we were in New York City, and I think that the vast majority of New York City residents didn't want to have the invasion of Iraq either. I think they were just happy that somebody was out protesting.
Do you remember any comments made by students that day, like how they felt, or did they say anything to you?
Oh, absolutely. We had discussions as we walked along. I remember I was with Dr. Jean Flavin and some other faculty, and we just had a wonderful kind of outing that day, talking about politics and the war as we chanted and listened to the speeches and stuff.
So you feel like just like a huge camaraderie that was made that day?
Right. I mean, being out on the street with people gives you a sense of solidarity that you know, this is where it's happening. It's also about culture, and this is where the activity is now. And if you are want to be where everybody else is, which is what celebrity culture is about, like, you know, where is that center of activity? What's meaningful? That's one of the aspects of participating in a large demonstration. I mean, you are it.